Sanamne Rama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Sita Swarupananda Paramam Sanamne Namo Sita Swarupananda Paramam Sanamne Ora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te Namo Sita Swarupananda Paramam Sanamne Ora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasudeva Govardhana Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasudeva Govardhana Nityananda Ranga Ranga Haribo Nityananda Nityananda Ranga Ranga Haribo Nityananda Nityananda Ranga Ranga Haribo Nityananda Nityananda Ranga Ranga Haribo Radharani Shama Sundar Vrindavan 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 Haribo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radharani Shama Sura Vindapana Haribo, Radharani Shama Sura Vindapana Haribo, Radharani Shama Sura Vindapana Haribo, Nityananda, Nityananda, Gauranga, Gauranga 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 Haribo. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Srila Swami Nanda Paramahansa, 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 Jaya Jaya Srila Swami Nanda Paramahansa. Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, Haribo, salamat po, Haribo.
Haribol, namaste. Thank you very much, Elinette, and your family for the wonderful entry kirtan. I am welcoming all of you to our Srimad Bhagavatam class. Uh, let's all pray first. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Siraswarupananda, Paramahamsa Itinamine. Bhaja Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Haribol, thank you very much, Mr. Freddie Merck.
नमस्ते सर
Namaste. Namaste to you, my friend. So, we are going to continue our reading and discussion still on the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I believe it's chapter 17 ba tayo? Chapter 18, yes. Maharaj Pariksit cursed by a Brahmana boy. So, who is our first reader, Rhea? As usual ba?
Sir Praveen po, sir.
Mr. Pravin. Mr. Pravin, go ahead.
Haribol.
In Haribol.
This is chapter 18, text 1.
Mm.
Translation. Sri Sutta Goswami said, due to the mercy of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Parikshit, though struck by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. Purport. The sages of Naimisharanya became struck with wonder after hearing about the wonderful administration of Maharaj Parikshit, especially in reference to his punishing the personality of Kali and making him completely unable to do any harm within the kingdom. Sutta Goswami was equally anxious to describe Maharaj Parikshit's wonderful birth and death, and this verse is stated by Sutta Goswami to increase the interest of the sages of Naimisharanya.
You can
Can I
read. You can read
continue?
text. Yeah, please. Mm.
Yeah. The text to translation. Furthermore, Maharaj Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of Brahman boy. Purport. A self-surrendered devotee of the Lord is called Narayan Parayan. Such a person is never afraid of any place or person, not even of death. For him, nothing is as important as the Supreme Lord, and thus he gives equal importance to heaven and hell. He knows well that both heaven and hell are creations of the Lord, and similarly, life and death are different conditions of existence created by the Lord. But in all conditions and in all circumstances, remembrance of Narayan is essential. The Narayan Parayan practices this constantly. Maharaj Parikshit was such a pure devotee. He was wonderfully cursed by an inexperienced son of Brahman who was under the influence of Kali, and Maharaj Parikshit took this to be sent by Narayan. He knew that Narayan, that is Lord Krishna, had saved him when he was burned in the womb of his mother, and if he were to be killed by a snake bite, it would also take place by the will of the Lord. The devotee never goes against the will of the Lord. Anything sent by God is a blessing for the devotee. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was neither afraid of, therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was neither afraid of nor bewildered by such things. This is the sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. Haribol.
Haribol, namaste. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Pravin. So this is the story of a Brahmana boy. It is described here as very inexperienced because he was just a you know, barely in his teens, no? This Brahmana boy who got so pissed by uh, looking at what happened to his father. Kasi his father was there in the village. He was meditating and was, he is closing his eyes like this. And it so happened that Maharaj Pariksit, because he was the emperor of the land. He would visit all the different regions, no? And so one day he was walking like this. By the way, he is actually a very well respected leader. Everywhere he goes, um, town folks, villagers would come running to him and offer their obeisances and offer him gifts, etc., like this, because he was very, very well known to have a very, very wonderful, uh, wonderful nuances, yeah, and very friendly to the town folks, etc. You know, he was a pure devotee, but it was so it so happened that this elderly Brahmana was sitting there meditating, but actually this elderly Brahmana is actually blind. He was blind, and because he was blind, he was not able to see the presence of Maharaj Pariksit. So the villagers went there and offered their obeisances, etc. Except him, he kept on meditating like this, no. So to uh, to give him a lesson, Maharaj Pariksit saw a dead snake. So Maharaj Pariksit got this dead snake and put it on the neck of that Brahmana whom he thought was actually creating a big offense, no, because he did not offer any obeisances nor took notice of Maharaj Parikshit's presence. So what happened was, and also Maharaj Parikshit thought that this Brahmana is actually have committed a great offense. So he actually taught him a lesson by putting the dead snake on his neck like a garland. So what happened was, uh, this was this was witnessed by the Brahmana's son. Etong son na to was actually not an experienced Brahmana. And he became very, very angry. He became very angry. He was saying, this leader of ours doesn't care about the uh, blind persons like this, So he thought that Maharaj Pariksit knew. He thought that Maharaj Pariksit knew that his father was blind, but actually he didn't know that his father was blind. But made a an assumption, no, that he already knew. So, but the problem was he did not. So immediately that Brahmana boy went to the river went to the river and cursed Maharaj Pariksit. When a Brahmana puts his finger, no, on surface of water and inserts that on water like this, and then curse that person, nobody can save that person. He cursed him to be bitten by a snake bird in 1 week's time, like that. So the concerned citizens of that village, approached Maharaj Pariksit and told him about this Brahmana boy, you know. And when the father learned about it, he was feeling very, very sorry. He actually became so offended by the action of his son. No, he shouldn't have done that. Maharaj Pariksit is a very well respected personality, and he is the emperor. For you to go ahead and curse an emperor is uh, nothing short of nothing short of you know um, horrible death. But he couldn't do anything because it was a Brahmana. He was a Brahmana. That's why sometimes we have to be very careful also, when we offend a Brahmana, because a Brahmana can can curse us, no? Can curse us, and there's nothing we can do. There is no uh, reversing that curse. Ganun po yung curse of the Brahmanas. Brahmanas are very favored by the supreme person, no? And so what happened was he was told by the villagers that this boy cursed him and he was to die in 7 days. So when he learned about it, he didn't freak out. Just, it is described here, that normally when a person learns about his death, imminent death, when he learns about it, he usually gets freaked out. No, he couldn't think properly. He couldn't. I don't know. He gets so freaked out. He gets all the doctors together. Yeah, battery of doctors to save his dear life. But Maharaj Pariksit, because he was a pure devotee of Krishna, and because he knows that everything that is happening around him, yeah, is the arrangement of Krishna. He is the cause of all causes. He is the source of everything. And him allowing that boy to curse him, he said was a blessing. In his head, it was a blessing. Iba talaga mag-isip ang devotees, no? The devotees never get angry, etc. In fact, Maharaj Parikshit's love for that boy, yeah, is there, or as always, because he was a pure devotee of Krishna. But then he simply just accepted his fate. He was to die in 7 days, and so when he reached the palace, he made a great announcement to the staff members of the palace, and told them that I was going to die in 7 days. I need to prepare. I need to go to the deep forest and ask for some assistance from the yogis that were there, and be ready for my imminent death. So what happened was, he knew that he was never afraid of death. Actually, he was never afraid of death, but he just wanted to be so prepared. what would be the consciousness of somebody who is about to die in a week's time? What should his consciousness be? He wanted to find that out from the great sages of of uh, of the forests. So when he reached the forest, actually, when he left the palace, he took away all his paraphernalia as being a king. He took off his crown, his bangles and rings, and you know uh, because he was decorated um, as a very great kshatriya warrior. He took all of that and just wore simple clothes, very very simple clothing only. Yeah, can somebody put that audience of Maharaj Pariksit with Sukadeva Goswami, please? It is actually found on the back cover of Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't have it with me right now. So can somebody put that there? So he talked to all the yogis that were present there, and unanimously, all of the yogis that were there pointed to Sukadev Goswami. You have to go to Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami will be able to teach you what is the art of dying, because dying is also an art. It is an art. You shouldn't be afraid of death. He was not afraid because when he was still in a fetus, when his body was still a fetus, his mother, Uttara, the wife of his father, Abhimanyu, okay, yan, you see, Sukadev Goswami was sitting on Vyasasan there, and Maharaj Pariksit is sitting right in front of him. That's Maharaj Pariksit, asking questions, as to the goal of life, what is the purpose of existence, what am I gonna, what is death? All of these important questions he asked from Sukadev Goswami. Pwede nyo natanggalin. Thank you very much for putting that. Yeah, so he in his very, very tiny body was already able to see Krishna in his form as Lord Paramatma, because when Asvatama, si Asvatama kasi, a very shameless demon. Um, his promise, to his demon friends that he is going to kill all the Pandavas, and he knew that Maharaj Pariksit is considered to be the last emperor. No, because Asvatama already killed the five sons of Arjuna. That those were the uncles of Maharaj Pariksit, no? So Uttara came running. Krishna was about to go to Dwarka already at that time. And, when she felt the heat on her tummy, because, this Brahmastra weapon, iba ito Brahmastra weapon. When you release the Brahmastra weapon, it will it will definitely hit its target unless there is a counter Brahmastra. So he used that because he was also he knew how to use the Brahmastra weapon. Etong si Asvatama, you know. Asvatama actually is the son of Dronacharya. So Dronacharya is considered to be a very well-respected uh, warrior, teacher. He actually taught the art of war to all the Pandava brothers as well as the Kurus, no? Led by Duryodhana and Dusasena and all the 98 other brothers of Dusasena and Duryodhana. Yeah. So, uh, so that's why he was actually a very famous military teacher. And he was uh, he was actually a warrior, Kshatriya, but at the same time a Brahmana. At the same time a Brahmana. Now he had a son by the name of Asvatama who learned some aspects of military warfare. And what he learned was that you know he was able to like release a Brahmastra weapon, but he could not how do you call that? He could not command the Brahmastra weapon to return back. Ganyan. Pag nirelease lang niya. But usually a Brahmastra weapon, if it is released by a very experienced Brahmana, he could release it, but he is able to at any moment he is able to pull it back. He couldn't do it. And when he released it, his only target was the last emperor, and that is Maharaj Pariksit, who is at that time just a baby. He was in a fetus at the time. Uh, in his mother's tummy, Uttara. So he Uttara felt that something is very very wrong. Yeah, he was feeling the heat on her tummy. So therefore, he ran to Krishna and asked for Krishna's assistance. And because Krishna is very, very dear to his devotees, immediately Krishna entered the womb of Uttara, okay, and protected the boy, which is actually Maharaj Pariksit. He actually put a shield around the uh, um, the tummy of Uttara. So so Maharaj Pariksit already saw Krishna when he was very very little. Was not even it's not considered to be a baby. He was just a little lump of little uh, he was when he was in the womb of his mother, he could also feel the heat. But when Krishna saved him, yeah, Krishna shielded him with his immense uh, potency. Okay, then he was able to be saved, and he was able to actually see Lord Narayan or Lord Vishnu personally when he was still a very very small infant, no, inside the womb of his mother. So that's why when he was already a grown up and he was ruling the entire Kuru dynasty, he was not afraid of death because he already faced death. He already faced death when he was still in when he was still a fetus inside the body of his mother. You know, as he already faced it. So, and the fact is that he is a pure devotee of Krishna, and as a pure devotee of Krishna, he understands that he is eternal, ever existing and undying. Only the body dies, but he doesn't die. So he was never afraid. Even as a grown up, he was not afraid of death. He was not afraid of any creature, man or half man or an animal or a place. He was always very brave. He was always very brave. And when that thing happened to him about this curse by the Brahmana boy, he understood very well that, Krishna saved me when I was still a fetus, when my body was still a fetus. And if this is the will of Krishna, I'm going to give up my body at this age, you know, that's a blessing. Everything is a blessing coming from Krishna. For devotees of Krishna, anything that happens to them, whether it is whether it is comfortable or uncomfortable for the devotee, it doesn't matter. Why? Because he knows that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Nothing moves without the will of Krishna. Not a blade of grass moves without the express will of Krishna. So everything that's happening around you, around the devotee in this world, is Krishna allows it to happen. So it doesn't matter for a devotee. Sige, if that is the will of Krishna, then I will submit to that will. Ganun kasi, this is the mindset. This is actually the consciousness of pure devotees of Krishna. They are never afraid of death because they live in a different world. They live, while they are here in the material world, they have a material body, they actually live in the spiritual world. That's why their body is considered to be spiritualized body. They continue to live in the spiritual world. So how can somebody be afraid of death? Yeah, when you're a devotee of Krishna. Only um, only an ignorant fool would think that if the body dies, then I'll die. That is the consciousness of a karmi or a materialist. A materialistic person or somebody who's a materialist only accepts one energy and totally rejects the second energy, which is the spiritual energy, is considered to be a fool, considered to be unintelligent and ignorant. Mhm. So, because he was a very intelligent person and a great devotee of Krishna, he uh, went to see Sukadev Goswami for you know for advice, so he could ask these different questions, very important questions, and that is the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, the question and answer. That's why in Srimad Bhagavatam sometimes you get to hear a conversation between Sukadev Goswami and Maharaj Pariksit. Sometimes Suta Goswami, okay, renarrates what um, what Sukadev Goswami is narrating to Maharaj Pariksit. He re-narrates it to the sages of Naimisaranya, to the sages of Naimisaranya, you know. And there is this constant shift of conversation. And when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll be able to understand. In the beginning, it's kind of difficult to follow through. Bakit bigla na lang ganito? Bakit bigla na lang ganyan? Sino kaya ito? Sino kaya yan? But if you keep on reading like this, Krishna gives you the intelligence. Krishna gives you the intelligence. And Krishna is able to make it so that you'll be able to understand. Ganito pala yun. Si ganito pala, kaya naging ganito kasi ganito. You're able to put the puzzle together, you know. Kasi parang in the beginning, parang it's a great puzzle. Very difficult to put it all together. But as you go along, that's why I I want to uh, advise everyone here in this particular class to not give up this class. Yeah, let's finish this class, even if I'll even if my even if my body will be like 80 years old. Okay. Because we are still on Canto 1, guys. Canto 1 pa lang tayo. Okay. So there's still a lot of wisdom that can be learned from Bhagavat Purana. Bhagavat Purana is another name of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so let's continue our reading. Who will be the next reader?
Haribo, sir.
Okay, Rhea, go ahead and read it.
Text 3. Okay lang po yung sound ko, sir.
Very clear.
Furthermore, after leaving... Wait lang po. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyasa, Sukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead. Purport. The word Ajita is significant here. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is known as Ajita, or the unconquerable, and he is so in every respect. No one can know his actual position. He is unconquerable by knowledge. Also, we have heard about his Dhamma or place, eternal Goloka Rindavan. But there are many scholars who interpret this abode in different ways. But by the grace of a spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami, and to whom the king gave himself up as a most humble disciple, one is able to understand the actual position of the Lord, his eternal abode, and his transcendental paraphernalia in that Dhamma or abode. Knowing the transcendental position of the Lord and the transcendental method by which one can approach the transcendental Dhamma, the king was confident about his ultimate destination, and by knowing this, he could leave aside everything material, even his own body, without any difficulty of attachment. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated...
Hold on. Yeah, can you put it in the screen? Akyat pa tayong konti. Akyat pa. Okay, go ahead. Sige, Rhea.
In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, one can give up all connection with material attachment when one is able to see the param, or the superior quality of things. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand the quality of the Lord's energy that is superior to the material quality of energy. And by the grace of a bona fide spiritual master like Sukadev Goswami, it is quite possible to know everything of the superior energy of the Lord, by which the Lord manifests His eternal name, quality, pastimes, paraphernalia, and variegatedness. Unless one
Variegatedness.
variegate,
No, variegatedness.
variegatedness. Unless
Mm.
one thoroughly understands this superior or eternal energy of the Lord, it is not possible to leave the material energy. However, one may theoretic, ter- theory- theoretically speculate on the true nature of the absolute truth. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Pariksit was able to receive the mercy of such a personality as Sukadev Goswami, and thus he was able to know the actual position of the unconquerable Lord. It is very difficult to find the Lord from the Vedic literatures, but it is
Mm.
very easy to know him by the mercy of a liberated devotee like Sukadev Goswami. Haribol.
Very well. Thank you very much, Rhea. So here we can see the importance of a bona fide spiritual master. The bona fide spiritual master is the only person that can actually guide you back to Krishna. He is like the door to the spiritual world. Without the door to the spiritual world, you cannot see the spiritual world. The only reason why a person is able to get a glimpse of the spiritual world is because of the door, and that door is the spiritual master. So by the mercy of the spiritual master only uh, did Maharaj Pariksit, was able to slowly understand fully well the personality of Krishna as Ajita. Ajita means the unconquerable supreme personality of Godhead. Yeah, and that Maharaj Pariksit, although Maharaj Pariksit is considered to be a pure devotee of Krishna, still, because he was playing the role of somebody who's a disciple of the greatest of the great teacher, Sukadev Goswami, he he was able to understand more and more and more about the nature of Krishna. How he controls the material cosmic manifestation as well as a spiritual cosmic manifestation. He controls everything. Not only the material world, not only can he consider to be um, the controller of nature, for instance, the three modes of material nature, but he controls everything, even the spiritual worlds. So he was able to actually come to know of this wonderful wisdom of the nature of the spiritual world as well as the material world. Very, very easy to understand if there is a spiritual master. If there is a bona fide spiritual master explaining, it becomes very easy because it is also described here that it is actually very difficult to find Krishna in the Vedic literatures, in the sastras. Well, you can read about Krishna, but very difficult to actually to have him notice you. The devotees of Krishna notices them. That's why the devotee is given the intelligence to actually understand Krishna. Si Krishna ay nagbibigay ng intelligence by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna and the mercy of Gurudev. Ganun po yun. The mercy of Gurudev is very important. That's why, you know, the key to spiritual success, if you are an aspiring uh, devotee of God, devotee of Krishna, wanting to understand fully well the nature of Krishna, the nature of the material world, as well as the nature of the spiritual world, as well as the nature of the relationship between a devotee and Krishna, etc. Yeah, is happens. It happens only because of the express uh, mercy and blessing of Gurudev. Without the mercy and blessing of Gurudev, very, very difficult. But you see, tingnan mo dito, no? If you look at Maharaj Pariksit, he left all his attachments aside. He had a very beautiful wife. He had a very beautiful family. He was quite young when he left the kingdom. No? Parang siyang si Gautama, no? Siddhartha Gautama also left the kingdom of his kingdom when he learned about the reality of the material world, about birth, diseases, old age, and death. When he learned all about this, he wanted to transcend birth, diseases, old age, and death. Because really, uh, real knowledge is when a person is able to solve the problems of these uh, four miseries of life. Materialists, they want to solve birth, but have they been successful in controlling birth? No. Birth still continues. They have controlled what is known as birth control, yeah, but it doesn't mean that they were able to find a panacea or something that can stop altogether birth. No, birth is always there because that is the law of material nature. Birth, diseases. Materialists or scientists may be able to control aspects of diseases. Yeah, they can control, let's say, one disease, but after they've controlled it, two or three or four diseases come out like this, and they try to control it. They want to stop it. They stop one, two or three mushrooms up like this. Very, it's impossible to do that. It's impossible because you're fighting against the three modes of material nature. Material nature is actually, you have to remember that it is actually superior than us. Material nature, superior than us. We cannot stop rains, nor can we stop tsunami, etc. Just today, there was a threat of a tsunami in the Philippines, as well as in the south, in the Pacific area. Uh, the earthquake that is happening in Russia actually made a threat to all the neighboring countries of Asia uh, and the Pacific of tsunami, like that. So everybody was kind of like aware. Everybody was like praying, sana, and the governments are telling their people, not to venture near the beach areas like that, because anytime a tsunami can just eat them up like this. It's a very, very powerful weapon, tsunami. It can kill millions, hundreds of thousands, and it has happened in so many countries, especially Japan. Japan, ang daming tsunami dyan, and it has eaten up cities, not only villages, but cities. I've seen a couple of videos before, the 2011, remember that? The 2011 tsunami and earthquake that has hit, you know, uh, Southeast Asia. It has hit Asia and many, many other countries. We cannot stop it because that is the work of material nature. So the three modes of material nature is very difficult to conquer. The goal of life really is to be able to solve these problems by understanding, first and foremost, your essence, who you are. You are not the material body, therefore, you are not disturbed by the problems associated with the material body. So very, very instantly a devotee understands it, you know, and he is able to understand that he is not God, that his position is that he is the dominated part and parcel of God, and his natural function is to be engaged in the loving service of God. He understands that fully well. That's why he is able to transcend the laws of material nature. He is able to actually find a solution to all the problems of life associated in this world, with this world. Birth, diseases, old age, death, yeah, the threefold miseries, the three types of anxieties, all of these problems associated with the material world, a devotee is able to transcend it, is able to solve it. How? By understanding that he has nothing to do with this world, that he is actually completely spiritual by nature. So if you understand that you're spiritual by nature and that, your function, the natural position and function is to be engaged in the loving service of God, who can, what can, uh, what can threaten you? Who can threaten you? Nobody. Not even material nature can threaten a person because it is completely transcendental to the laws of material nature. That's why Maharaj Pariksit fully understood this. He was not afraid of death. He was not afraid of anything, man or animal or half man, half animal, whatever. He's not afraid to go to any place at all. Yeah. He was doing this out of his compassion towards other living beings, towards his people. A true uh, devoted leader that he is. Okay, so let's read further.
Haribol namaste po.
Who is that?
Haribol po. Haribol namaste. Text for
Haribol. Haribol Namaste
Haribol.
Pinky. Go
Text
ahead.
for translation. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. Purport. The highest perfection of life is attained by remembering the transcendental nature of the Lord at the last moment of one's life. This perfection of life is made possible by one who has learned the actual transcendental nature of the Lord from the Vedic hymns sung by a liberated soul like Sukadev Goswami or someone in that line of disciplic succession. There is no gain in hearing the Vedic hymns from some mental speculator. When the same is heard from an actual self-realized soul and is properly understood by service and submission, everything becomes transparently clear. Thus, a submissive disciple is able to live transcendently and continue to at the end of life. By scientific adaptation, one is able to remember the Lord even at the end of life. When the power of remembrance is slackened due to derangement of bodily membranes, for a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time of death. But by the grace of the Lord and His bona fide devotees, the spiritual masters, one can get this opportunity without difficulty, and it was done in the case of Maharaj Parikshit. Continue pa po, sir?
Yeah, one more.
Okay, text 5. Translation. As long as the great powerful son of Abhimanyu remains the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. Purport. As we have already explained, the personality of Kali had entered the jurisdiction of this earth long ago, and he was looking for an opportunity to spread his influence all over the world. But he could not do so satisfactorily due to the presence of Maharaj Parikshit. That is the way of good government. The disturbing elements, like the personality of Kali, will always try to extend their nefarious activities, but it is the duty of the able state to check them by all means. Although Maharaj Parikshit allotted places for the personality of Kali, at the same time he gave no chance for the citizens to be swayed by the personality of Kali. Haribol Namaste po.
Haribol. Thank you very much, Pinky. Yeah, so here we can learn that no amount of material knowledge or intelligence can transcend one from the miseries of birth and death. In other words, kahit na you are a very, very intelligent person, yeah, you have very, 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 very long names because you're, Mr. Nelson Smith, PhD, MA, all kinds of addresses. It is of no value because no one can transcend the laws of material nature. No one can transcend the vicious cycle of birth and death with one's intelligence, with one's imperfect and limited senses. Hindi po kaya. Many have tried it, but actually they are not able to do it. Yeah. And most of these people, because they only get their knowledge from their own mental speculation, they are the most uh, they are the most uh, fearful of death, of the reality of death. Sila yung takot na takot because they don't know anything about the second energy. They don't know anything about the spiritual energy. They only accept, most of them anyway, only accept there is one energy only, and that is material energy. Yeah. So as soon as the material energy gets destroyed, in this case, the material body gets diseased or figures in an accident or something, the material body uh, gets destroyed, etc. They think that because I am the body, then I am going to die. That's why they are very, very afraid of the word death. Only a devotee of Krishna can transcend the vicious cycle of birth and death. Only a pure devotee of Krishna, or somebody who is a devotee of Krishna, upon leaving their bodies, they are able to actually go back to Krishna because they understand fully well who they are. Yeah? Alam na alam nila yan. But for non-devotees of Krishna, yeah, even though you may be very, very bright, you may be very, very famous, you may be very uh, uh, well endowed with beauty, you are uh, very wealthy, hindi po yan sapat. That is not enough for a person to actually transcend the laws of material nature, to transcend birth and death. So there are so many things that we can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. No? He actually learned this from his spiritual master, Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva is the one giving him instructions. They kept on talking for continuously, day and night, for 7 days. Imagine that. Tapos yung mga, they're aside from Maharaj Pariksit and Sukadev Goswami, there are so many other sages also, including Narada Muni. Narada Muni was there listening. Srila Vyasadeva, who is the father of Sukadev Goswami, was there too. And so many other great sages that were there. Sutta Goswami was there. That's why Sutta Goswami was able to re-narrate the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisaranya. So we are very fortunate that we have Srila Prabhupada as our spiritual master. Yeah, because only by his mercy can we really understand this great science of God. The science of God is a great science. No? Hindi ito something na parang fake lang or belief system. No. This is based on science. What is the definition of science? The definition of science is truth. That's why, we have the science of identity. The truth of our real identity. And our identity is not only our essence. Our identity includes our position and our function. That is our real identity. So I am a servant of Krishna. I am never the master. I'm always the servitor of Krishna. Yeah. So that at the time of death, immediately, automatic, you'll be able to understand your relationship with Krishna. A devotee is able to understand the nature of his identity as spiritual. Ano yun? Automatic yun. Automatic. Yeah. At the end of one's life, a devotee understands this fully well, and Krishna comes to pick him up. That is the promise of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, we just have to have Shraddha or firm faith. Yeah, if we have that, even though our service may not be as perfect, because all of us naman, we live in the material world, we have this body, we have these senses, we have this mind, and they are all imperfect, no? And they have, man has four frailties, etc. So we can only do our best. We can only do our best. Yung mga hindi natin kaya, hindi naman yun magagalit si Krishna. Krishna will be displeased upon you when you aren't able to practice everything, Krishna is very loving. He's uh, the most lovable, the most loving, the sweetest friend we can ever have. And that is Krishna. Although sometimes we do not feel worthy, we do not feel deserving, but no matter, we just do our best to serve Krishna. Yun lang naman hiningi sa atin eh. Do our best to serve Krishna. Do your best to serve Krishna. Don't be lazy. Yun po yun. Because most of us are actually lazy. You are lazy to finish even our rounds. Lazy to study the scriptures. Lazy to even offer our food to Krishna in our altar. So we always, the life of a devotee of Krishna is always prayerful. Prayerful po. Parati tayo nagdadasal. Parati tayo humihingi ng strength kay Krishna. We are always asking for strength. Krishna, I don't deserve you. I'm very, very unworthy. But I want to serve you. I want to know you better. Yeah, I want to please my spiritual master by serving you. So please help me. This request by a devotee of Krishna, if done sincerely, Krishna will take care of you. Krishna will take care of a devotee. And you're able to feel it actually. You're able to feel this the security that comes from surrendering to Krishna. Hindi po ito something na parang straight from Hollywood or straight from a a bestseller book or something. No. We're talking here of a real person. Krishna is as real as you are there right now. All of you are in this class. And I am real too. Krishna is as real as ourselves and more. That is the personality of Krishna. Sobrang mahal tayo ni Krishna. If we can only realize that, Okay, so hanggang dito na lamang po tayo. We are going to continue on Friday our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, reading and discussion. But in the meantime, I would like to ask if you have any questions. Do you have any questions?
Haribol, sir.
Haribol, Rhea.
Meron lang po akong clarification.
Go ahead.
In the scripture, it was described that Maharaj Pariksit is already a pure devotee. But at the moment that when he met the blind Brahmana, it's like he lost any knowledge of like being patient, that he should not treat that and that person like that. Is it like Krishna's arrangement that he somehow disrespect and didn't able to somehow being broad-minded, that he didn't able to consider that somehow that that Brahmana was blind. That's why
Mm.
not able to pay respect to him. Because that
Yeah.
action,
Mm. Mm.
and then afterwards, he able
Mm.
to, it's like afterwards when he was cursed, then he came back to his senses and able to accept everything that it was
Mm.
like Krishna's mercy.
Mm. Well, pure devotees of Krishna, they don't pretend to be perfect. You understand this? Lord Jesus Christ, when he was here, he wasn't able to actually see what will happen to him. No, he just continued on his service to his father, despite the enviousness uh, that many people are around him feel. They feel very envious of Jesus. So, but a devotee of Krishna exercises what is known as tolerance. He just tolerates all this. Now, your question is, bakit niya nakita? Hindi niya na-foresee. He is a pure devotee. He did not foresee that this person is blind, you know. Everybody was bowing down except that person, you know. You have to remember that it is the arrangement of Krishna. Just like Arjuna became very, very, confused when he faced the reality that he's going to have a battle with his teachers and his great uncles and relatives and cousins, etc. No, he felt confused. Bakit ito nangyayari like this, like that? But because that was the arrangement of Krishna, and Krishna has a higher has a higher uh, um aim and purpose. For now, he couldn't understand it, but he knows that Krishna is the cause of all causes. So ganon din si Maharaj Pariksit. When he learned about that curse, he did not ask. Uh, he went to the forest. He did not ask these different personalities to remove that curse. No, he simply accepted it. Oh, ganun yung nangyari. Nagkamali ako eh. Namali ako. I did not realize that he was blind. But as again, Krishna arranges everything for a devotee of Krishna so that we can learn. Do you understand? We are the generations. We are the future generations. So when we read the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are able to actually learn from the devotees of Krishna. So isa siya sa mga naging naging example of a devotee of Krishna um, during the time of during the time of during the time of the presence of um, the Pandavas, the great devotees of Krishna. They were there, and Krishna made it happen. Mm. So yun lang, because it was arranged by Krishna. It doesn't really matter, no? You're like a pawn. Alam mo yung pawn sa chess? Hinahawakan ng king yung pawn. Kahit nasaan ka ilagay, hindi ka magre-reklamo. kasi pawn ka lang. Gaganon ka. Check. If you are to be eaten by the by the enemy, the other side, it's okay because you're just a pawn. Okay, so we are all pawns of Krishna. You understand this? Yeah, we are all pawns, and he was a pawn of Krishna. So whatever happens to him is a blessing and mercy coming from Krishna. Yun lang po yun. We don't start complaining. Krishna, ba't mo naman ako nilagay sa alanganin? Lagay mo ako sa alanganin dito. Paano ba to? I wasn't able to see that person as blind. Kaya, kaya tuloy na-curse ako. He saw that as a complete mercy from Krishna. Yun nangyari na yun. It is a complete mercy from Krishna. Mapapadali yung pag, pagbalik niya sa spiritual world. And at the same time, he is able to actually be part of the pastimes of Krishna, pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam, and and many people like us right now are learning to act how we can also, all of us, transcend the laws of material nature. Kaya these things are happening because Krishna wanted it to happen. Okay, Rhea?
Okay po, sir. Thank you po, Haribol.
Haribol Namaste. Any other questions? Okay, kung wala na, sino ba yung nandito? Teka lang ha.
Si Mitch po, sir. Magka-closing curtain.
Si Mitch. Okay. Mitch, would you like to have a closing kirtan, Michi?
Namaste po. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you very much, Michi, for a wonderful exit kirtan. Maraming salamat. I would like to thank our admins in the room, Rhea, as well as my good friend Freddie Merck. Thank you sa inyong dalawa.
Maraming salamat, kapatid. At
Maraming
mga
salamat din.
kaharibol.
Haribol. Yeah, and for all those who have read, maraming salamat. And most especially, no, to the kirtan, the opening kirtan also of Elinet. Elinet, thank you very much. Yeah.
Salamat din po. Namaste.
Haribol. Yeah. Janner, as well as your mom, Mina and Kalkidas. Thank you for the simulcast and your assistance as always, Janner.
Daghang salamat, sir. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, I'd like to offer my most respectful obeisances to each and every one of you who participated in this night's class. Meron tayong bagong estudyante, si Kiel Eric Tinzon. Yeah, if you see him wanting to come in, just let him come in. He asked permission already. He actually learned the science of identity from my fellow God brother, no, si Achuta Das. Eric Tinzon, taga saan ka? Are you from Mindanao or are you from Manila? Mukhang wala si Eric. Oh, okay, Rhea, you know, take it away.
Thank you very much din po, Sir Rada. Thank you,
Mm.
Ma'am Elenet and Meets for the Kirtan. Thank you, Sir George, for hosting. At sa lahat po ng readers, Sir Pravin and Ma'am Pinky. And to everyone, Haribol, Jaya Gurudev Krishna.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Nitai Gaur. Please take good care of yourselves. Okay? Haribo.
Haribol. Chris night. Good night, everyone. Signing off po, Haribol.
Mm.